Hello, welcome. My name is Isha and I am currently documenting my weight loss journey here on YouTube. 2 weeks ago today, I decided that I was going to do a 15,000 steps a day challenge for 7 days and then kind of just report on my results from there. So that's what I'm going to do today. I also said that I was going to eat 1,500 calories a day for that 7 days. And while I did aim to do that, and there was a couple, maybe about 3 days that I actually did eat within 1,500 calories. Most of the days I ate around 1,800 calories throughout that week. But anyways, today I'm gonna tell you what happened as a result of walking 15,000 steps a day for 7 days. The first thing that I really wanna touch on is the effect that it had on me and my mental health. So if you don't really know me, which I'm assuming a lot of the people who watch my videos don't actually know me in real life, I suffer a lot with anxiety. I've suffered with depression pretty much all my life too, but I would feel like at this point in my life, anxiety is what really kind of has a hold on me, and it's something that I'm really struggling with. More so because I find that when I feel anxious about things, it comes out in a very aggressive and angry way. And my anxiety is heavily, anger induced. I don't know. I just find that when I'm anxious, it makes me angry and I get really irritable and frustrated. And I just feel like I can't properly deal with my emotions and my feelings in those moments. They come out in a rather aggressive way. So, one thing I've been finding, and especially on that first day, I noticed this pretty much right away, and I think a lot of it was because it was the first day of my walk. I was halfway through my walk when I really started kind of having these feelings and thoughts, but just kind of feeling grateful for where I live, grateful for the area that I'm in, and the amount of accessible places that there are to go and walk, and the wonderful views that I am able to see along my walks. And just kind of seeing people walking around, like an older lady who was walking around with her dog, and they just seemed like they were having a really great time. And it just kind of started putting images into my head for the future and when I'm older and what life would be like, and just knowing that I need to keep making steps and keep working hard for positive change in my life, and that going on these walks, however small it might seem, was a positive step in the right direction. So that was really, I don't know, it was really great to see, especially on the first day. And then having that carry through the rest of the week, just having it have such a positive effect on my mental well-being, on the way that I was thinking, and knowing that I could leave to go on my walk and I could be in an extremely horrible mood or be feeling angry or just not feeling great. And then by the time that I would come back, I would feel significantly better. Now, that didn't necessarily mean that I was going to feel that positive and amazing for the rest of my day, because like I said, I do struggle with these things. I do struggle with anger a lot, and how to control anger and how to kind of find ways to be able to manage that. But I would say that exercise, that was really loud. There's someone just like honking their boat outside. Anyways, but I would say that exercise, I find, really helps manage my mood and make me feel less irritable and less angry. So today especially, I kind of tried putting that into practice more. So I went out for a walk with my daughter this morning because it's the weekend, so she doesn't have school. Typically I try and go out for my walks when she's at school because it's just easier for me to walk at a certain pace and for a certain amount of time when she's at school and it's just me. But today I took her out in the wagon, I took her to a park, and we were out for a little over an hour, and I got about just under 8,000 steps in that walk. I'm almost at 10,000 steps right now. For like, we'll talk more about this week at the end of the video though. But just kind of realizing, sorry. But yeah, so we did that, and I still didn't feel the best coming back from that walk. I did feel a little bit stressed out just because the walks that I'm used to versus the walks going on my daughter are two completely different types of walks. So when I came back today, I just didn't feel like I had the most successful walk, and I was feeling a little bit irritable. I was trying to get things done in the home, but I was not having much inspiration for trying to get those things done, or not much motivation, I should say. And I was really struggling with just my anxiety in the moment and feeling very irritated. So I ended up putting on a video on my phone. I used my tripod. I went and I started just kind of walking on my mat in here and getting some steps. Those steps were not tracked on my phone, but I didn't really care at that point. I knew I just needed to let off steam. So I had her watching TV, and every so often she would come and do like little marches or steps with me or jogging on the spot. And I kind of just would switch intensities throughout my little workout, which was around 40 minutes that I did. And yeah, I found that the moments where I started feeling more irritated, I started to kind of channel that into working out a little bit harder. And those were the times that I would jog in place or do kind of like knee high jumps or whatever they call them, like high knees, I don't know, like extreme marching, like where you're kind of jumping. And then, you know, I would stop if it started kind of feeling any pain in my knees or whatever. But then I would kind of like switch back and forth between walking, something that was a little bit more lower intensity, and switching to things that, now I need to go see what's going on. Curiosity got the best of me a second ago. There was a boat horn that kept going on outside, and it's happened about 3 or 4 times since I've been making this video in about like the last 10 minutes. So I don't know, I had to go outside and just check out what was going on. There's nothing that I can see. Hopefully there's no more boat horn, because it's really obnoxiously loud, and it is almost 9 o'clock at night. So hopefully that doesn't keep happening. But anyways, like I was saying, I was switching through intensities in my little workout that I did today, and I did find that it helped a lot with my anger. So I think, or my anxiety, anger, I don't know, however you want to, whatever that would be called, I'm not sure. But I found it really helpful, and it helped me deal with that kind of like feeling in my chest, like my heart was going to explode. So I feel like I'm going to start implementing that more, but again, I'll talk about more about my goals near the end of the video. Just wanted to talk about more so about the week that I did my 15,000 steps. Definitely huge impacts on my mental health and having more positive thinking, and then it also kind of leaking into just my everyday life and motivating me to tidy up a little bit more, motivating me to just want to do things that are going to have a net positive for myself and for the people around me that I really care about, my family. There's a lot of things that I'm doing right now that I'm trying to work towards an end goal. I think it's a certain goal, and having my family back together is a big part of that, but also knowing that I'm going to be where I need to be in order for my family being back together being a successful thing. So anyways, I find that just having that goal every day, meeting it every day, it helped kind of push me into wanting to do other things that I know would be positive for my life. So I think that that's great. Another thing that walking 15,000 steps a day, obviously it takes quite a bit of time. Every person's going to probably reach 15,000 steps a little bit differently time-wise. If you're somebody who's like super tall, you're probably going to get it a little quicker, but it would also depend on how fast you're walking. So I would walk around, I think it was like 5 miles an hour is what my step counter, my health app would say. I will put screenshots of like the steps that I took every day for that 7 days, all the screenshots that I did take, and what I didn't take, I'll go back and kind of try and find in my log on my app. But I'm sure I can find my average walking speed for that week. I think that tracks it. We'll see. But I didn't walk too slow. Some days I walked a little bit faster than others, and then there was parts of my walk that I walked faster and slower than others. But it took me around 2.5 hours, maybe a little under 2.5 hours to get my 15,000 steps in. Actually, I think, yeah, around that time. It was about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how fast I walked. I usually did do that every single day in the morning time. I was able to be pretty successful that whole week because of just every day having that time to dedicate towards walking. So because of the time that it did take me to get my 15,000 steps every single day, and because I was doing it in just one block of time to get those steps, I had about 2 hours at a time where I was just walking. And I haven't really brought my headphones with me to kind of listen to music or a podcast or an audiobook or anything like that. I've just been kind of listening to my own thoughts and observing kind of things that are going on around me, whether I like it or not, and just taking in the scenery around me, which has been great. There was a couple times that I did listen to, I think I was listening to like, it happened again. It's making me anxious. It's random. There was a couple of times that I did take my headphones with me. So I'm thinking about the boat horn. It keeps going off and I never know when it's gonna go off again or if it's gonna be the end of it. One of the times I did listen to like a Jordan Peterson kind of podcast, and there was another time, I think I was listening to music. I can't remember exactly. Maybe it was some other type of podcast. I can't remember exactly, but there's been at least one time that I did my walk and listened to something for at least over an hour. Most of the time it's just me walking, my phone in my pocket or in my fanny pack, and just kind of listening to my own thoughts, processing things, trying to practice healthy thinking, at least what my interpretation of healthy thinking would be, not beating myself up about what I've done in the past / what I have not done or accomplished in the past, trying to focus on my future, but also knowing that I have to remain in the present and work on myself in the present in order to be what I want for the future, because that's really hard for me. I don't know why. I always either live in the past or live in the future, and I'm existing in the present, but I'm not actually there in the present with myself. I'm always back or forth with my thinking and everything. Going for walks it gave me a lot of time to really just think without any type of distraction from media or electronics or just things that would just get in your way on a normal basis. I just had that time to just go for my walk, and the fresh air obviously really, really great. I think there's just something about breathing in fresh air, especially if you're able to walk in nature kind of areas instead of just city streets. And don't get me wrong, I live in a pretty city environment, but I also live on the lake, so you get a bit of a, I don't know if you would call it coastal, but there's some sort of like water element to it. So you smell the lake sometimes, and those smells, although they're not that great because sometimes it smells like dead fish, but I don't know, there's just something, at least, I don't know, there's like this naturalness about being near the water, smelling the earth, smelling the plants around you. It's just, I don't know, I personally really like it, as opposed to just being in a gym and smelling other people or gym equipment or chemicals or whatever it may be. So obviously the biggest result or reaction from walking 15,000 steps a day that I was kind of hoping for, and the thing that I was doing as more for a goal, was for weight loss. And I was actually pretty impressed the first couple of days, which makes sense. You're not going to just drop weight overnight, and if you are, it's probably not legitimate weight. It's probably just water weight or something like that. But yeah, in the first couple of days, I didn't really notice much of a difference to the scale. Didn't even really equate to a pound in the first few days. But then suddenly by day 7, when I weighed myself, I was down about 4 pounds. Okay, so on Saturday morning, I actually did weigh myself, and I was actually 235.8. I have weighed myself this morning, and I've technically gained just under a pound, but I also know, like, weight fluctuation happens. Either way, since the 240, I've lost weight. You can see here. Oh. 236.6. Just over or just under 4 pounds, something like that. And then by day 10, I was down like officially 5 pounds. So yeah, in 15,000 steps a day, I dropped 4 pounds in 7 days. I was also watching what I ate to a degree, more so calorie wise, focusing on getting a certain amount of protein a day. And I did that a lot with drinking protein shakes. I really like the Premier Protein ones. I've tried 4 different flavors now. I've tried their strawberries and cream flavor, I've tried banana, I've tried caramel, and then I've tried, I think it's just chocolate, but it has like a picture of chocolate ice cream on it. But yeah, they're chocolate flavor as well. My favorite flavor from Premier Protein, and they have like 30 grams of protein per shake. I don't know, I just think it's a great way to be able to get protein and be like, okay, 30 grams down, 60 grams down. It says on the shakes only to have 1 a day. Sometimes I have 2 a day, so I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna die, but so far I've been okay. And I've been getting my protein, so yeah, and they're really delicious. Yeah, my favorite one so far, I think, is the caramel, which is interesting because caramel flavored things are not usually my favorite. I feel like chocolate is usually my favorite. But the chocolate one's okay, don't get me wrong, but it's like a little bit more chalky tasting. It's like a chalky kind of chocolate, which is kind of funny. Anyways, but I did like the caramel. I do like the caramel because that's the one I buy consistently every single week. So I buy 2 packs a week. Yeah, 2 packs a week, and that is $22 a week. So, I mean, like, a little pricey, but I'm trying to kind of use them as meal replacement shakes. Because I think that's what you're supposed to use them as when they have 30 grams of protein in them. Yeah, the banana one's really good too. The strawberries and cream one is good too. I'm kind of hit and miss with strawberry because, I mean, it does kind of just taste like strawberry milk, which is, there's nothing wrong with strawberry milk, but I'm not like, woohoo for strawberry milk. I do like it, and I would buy them again because I like having the variety of the flavors, and I don't want to just drink caramel. The banana one's really good. I buy that one more so for when my boyfriend comes over and he wants to have a premier protein shake. Yeah, premier protein shakes, or just protein shakes in general. I'm sure there's lots out there to choose from, and you'll find one that you like, hopefully, if you want to try giving protein shakes a try in terms of meal replacement or just getting your daily intake of protein in if you're struggling. I think it's a good way to do it. So yeah, the weight loss kind of like met what my dream goal was in order to lose a certain amount of weight in a week. I kind of wanted to get a bit of a kickstart. And so getting down to 235, I was like, okay, I have not seen 235 on the scale for a really long time. I haven't seen anything under 236 on the scale for a really long time. And I was going up between 236 and 240 just constantly. It was nice to see that on the scale and just know that, okay, this is what it takes to do it. I can do this. It is hard. I'm not gonna like sit here and lie. You can have pretty much any food you want. You just have to watch the amount that you're eating and track the calories so that you're staying within a certain calorie window, because, you know, weight loss is calories in versus calories out. You're not going to achieve your weight loss goals if you are not eating less. You have to burn more than you're eating. But yeah, so I also did take my measurements in the first video, and I did take my measurements afterwards, but there was really not any change, which I'm not surprised about because I only lost 5 pounds, and I can only assume that not all of that was legitimate fat. I'm sure there was a water weight loss too. So yeah, I did take my measurements, and I think the only one that I noticed any change on was my hips. And yeah, the rest was kind of pretty much the same. So that's all I'm going to say about my inches this week. The week that I was doing this, I was also finishing up school. So my school program that I was doing, where I was just working on getting 2 high school credits right now, I was doing biology and grade 12 English. So I finished that yesterday. That program was over, so I'll get my report card soon and see how I did on those courses. Yeah, so I was spending a lot of time focusing on that. And now that that's over, I have the next 3 months, June, July, August. Yeah, pretty much 3 months, a little under 3 months to kind of just figure out this whole physical journey of mine and try and really get on track. One thing I noticed with having the challenge with the 15,000 steps for 7 days is that because I had a challenge and there was a goal in mind and there was a date, I did really well at sticking with it for that 7 days. The next 7 days I did try, but I didn't try nearly as hard as I could have. I kind of dropped the ball. I did make attempts every single day to get exercise in and to monitor my steps and to try and at least get 10,000 steps. But there were days that I didn't, at least not on my phone. I did go for walks in which I forgot my phone, or it was at a really low battery, so I wasn't gonna take it with me, and I was with my boyfriend and my daughter, and it was just like, just go and enjoy the walk without thinking about tracking the steps. But yeah, I've been making the attempts at trying to get the exercise. I do find though, if I have a goal, at least this one, it made me want to stick with it. I want to make like a 2-week goal this time. And this next 2 weeks, instead of doing 15,000 steps a day for 7 days, I'm gonna do 17 to 20,000 steps for 5 days, and that'll try and help kind of make up for the lack of steps that I'm gonna do on the weekend. I'm still gonna do steps those days. It's just gonna be, it's gonna be hard to get as many because I can hopefully at least get 10,000 steps a day on the weekend. I should be able to. But yeah, so that's gonna be my next goal as far as steps over the next 2 weeks. And that'll be starting tomorrow, Sunday, June 9th. And then also, as far as food goes, I was thinking of doing sort of like a modified, less strict OMAD. So technically, I would only be eating 1 meal a day, but I would still be consuming some calories during the day in the form of protein shakes. So I was thinking in the morning I will have my coffee mixed with protein shakes, and then have another protein shake at around lunchtime. And then in between that, fill that with just drinking lots of water, because I could definitely do to drink more water. So I do a protein shake in the morning, lots of water, protein shake in the afternoon, lots of water, and then have my only meal at dinner time, because dinner is my favorite meal of the day. And you can have whatever you want. You can have breakfast at dinner if you want, like eggs or something like that. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. So that kind of version of OMAD. Maybe I shouldn't call it OMAD. I don't know what to call it at that point. It is only eating 1 meal a day though. So technically it is OMAD. It's just modified OMAD. We'll just call it modified OMAD. My voice is dying. But one thing that'll be nice about only eating 1 meal a day is that I really want to start learning how to kind of cook more from scratch. I've always enjoyed cooking. I've had several jobs in my life as a line cook or a prep cook. I don't know. I'm happy that I've had experience working in kitchens in my life. But I do want to take that a bit further in my own life, in my own kitchen, and learning how to provide better meals for my family going forward and for myself as well. And so I think with doing this kind of modified OMAD, I'll be able to focus a lot more on that 1 meal a day and preparing a genuine nice dinner every single day, and being able to pick fresh ingredients. Wonder why they're doing that. But yes, I think that's it. Sorry if this wasn't the greatest video. I don't know. I'm trying. I want to do more filming. It's just been hard this last week. I have been kind of mentally going through it. Not that first 7 days where I was actually being consistent with things, but this last week has been a bit hard. I've been kind of hard on myself about not achieving a certain amount of steps per day this last 7 days. And also been not as careful or as mindful about what I'm eating. But yeah, things are gonna be different. I have a new challenge now, and I think I'm gonna check in at the end of the week. Even though it's a 2-week challenge, I'm gonna check in at the end of each week and kind of just give an update about where I am. Because it gives me another goal and just something to kind of stick to. And that's one thing I really need in my life, is to make goals and actually stick to them. So this is kind of helping me get into the practice of that, and I think that's awesome. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good when I do something that I say I'm gonna do and I feel accomplished about it. So that's awesome too. Anyways, if you watched this whole video, thank you very much. If you're on your own weight loss journey right now, I just want to let you know that I'm doing this too, and it's not easy. And if we want to do it, we got to stick to it. So I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to anybody else who is going through these same kind of issues. I think it'll be worth it. I think it's going to genuinely be worth it, both mentally and physically, to actually accomplish this. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.